Simplified Parent Revolution in our private Facebook group, which I hope you've joined. And if you haven't, please do so right now. So here's what we're going to talk about today, folks. This question that you were asked when you were young, that I was asked when I was young, and that your teenagers have been asked and are being asked and need to be asking themselves, which is this idea of becoming something. And of course, this question has a lot of implications when it comes to college admissions. But I think we want to start by saying that the question itself has a lot of fallacy in it. For example, what do you want to be when you grow up implies that you're going to be one thing. I don't know about you, but my experience as an adult is that I have had several incarnations professionally. Probably you have too, if you're anywhere north of 50 as I am. As you think about, the future that you're hoping to help your student architect, please keep in mind that this is going to evolve, and that what we're going to talk about today, which is the undergraduate major that they may want to pursue. I've got a great tip for you today that I've never shared on social media before, but this is a big day. You want to be here for this. So I can tell you that right now, there are a lot of students who are under the impression that it's okay to wait until maybe 11th or even 12th grade to start thinking about a major or an academic focus. Of course, it needs to be said, some colleges don't even require that students declare a major as they come in, but many do, and it's very important to be thinking about what program your student is going to apply into. So let's start by saying that we're going to look at what the most popular majors are, because of course, the more crowded a competitive field is, and we're talking now about admissions, not necessarily to Ivy League or anything like that, but certainly admissions to selective schools or highly selective schools. If you have a bigger competitive field, it is going to be that much harder. You're going to need that much course rigor, that much test prep to get the score that will differentiate you. It becomes a steeper and steeper climb for your student. When you are informed with what I'm going to share today, you can help steer them in a way that they are still doing something they love, but they are not in that ridiculously crowded competitive field. So that's what we're talking about. So what do you think the answer to this question is? You can take a look at the question there. The top 3 majors in the US last year. It'd be really interesting just to ask yourself what you think they are, because in a minute I'm going to share with you not just the top 3, but I'm going to show you the top 10. And so as you're thinking about that, I'm going to get ready to share my screen and show you the answer to the question. So here we go. The most popular majors last year are right there. Number 1, business. Number 2, health professions. Then social sciences, engineering, bio and biomed. Notice that bio and biomed are separate from health professions. Some people are surprised by that. We can talk about that today. Then psychology, communications, visual and performing. You can see what's there. And in fact, I need to remove the banner so you can see the bottom. So education is 9. And computer and information sciences, number 10. So as you're thinking about these as the most popular majors, keep in mind that what I just described are not highly specified. These are what we would consider to be broad majors. And one of the big mistakes that students make when they're applying into selective programs is they just say, well, I like biology, I'm going to apply into bio. And okay, you can. But do you know that there are highly specific sub-majors within that umbrella, that larger category of the broad major, that if you take the time to research, which obviously you or a consultant, somebody needs to be helping you navigate this, you can then identify the programs that would be a great fit for your student where there is, again, less competition. So the word of the day, folks, is impaction. So when a major is impacted What does that mean for your student? I'm going to show you actually a really wonderful solution that I've helped to co-create that I think really helps students navigate this stuff. I think you'll find it interesting, for your own purposes as well. So when you think about the word impaction, here's what that means. It is when the number of applications that is received from all these qualified applicants, this very competitive field, for a particular major, when it exceeds the number of spaces they have, right? That is what it means when there is an impacted major. So you want to avoid, when you can, impacted majors. And thinking about how to make sure that your student is still, going, I mean, certainly if they want to be a performing artist, you don't apply them into some random engineering program just to get them in. We do want to still have them in the broad category, but how do you determine what the sub-majors are at each school without spending, hundreds of hours on Google and on the internet? So we're going to talk a little bit about how we can really just get strategic. We want you to have data so that you can narrow the possibilities using the actual facts that are out there, and then help your student. Obviously this is, for me, usually when I'm doing consulting with my clients, we go into a feedback loop. Well, what about this one? Well, what about that one? And I'll show you right now what that tends to look like. So, as I think about the tool I'm going to show you right now, this is something that I have used with many, many, many students over the last several years since it was devised. And we're going to go right now inside the GATE platform. So what you're looking at here is a tool, and I am going to use this tool to help you get a sense of how, just basically how things can be narrowed for your student. I'll show you very quickly that what we have here on the left describes the tool. It's actually called GATE. It's not for sale at this time. I just want to say that I'm not here selling something or whatever. I mean, my clients get access to this, but this is something that is an acronym. GATE stands for Grades, Applications, Testing, and Essays. We're right now going to be inside of part of the A section of GATE. So this is actually part of the applications section. You can see that there. And we are inside of a tool. So take a look at this. The broad majors that exist. So of the 10 that you just saw, I'm clicking this button, and what do you see? Oh, look, there's engineering. We just saw that. There's education. We just saw that. We can go through and see, there's the health professions. Oh, I can see how that's separate from bio. Now, I tell you, the first thing that I love to do with a lot of students, especially my 9th and 10th graders, is just to open up a conversation. Hey guys, have you put any thought behind what you want to be doing? Why does it matter then? I'm going to tell you why. It's very difficult to weave a compelling narrative thread in 12th grade for the admissions officers to see that your student have their head in the game around a specific outcome. I'm not saying they have to know in 9th or 10th grade exactly what they're going to do, but to begin narrowing the field is important because it helps them choose the right extracurriculars, the right summer activities, the right internships. They can build their the way that they're investing their time around that. So this is really, I want you to hear that this isn't just about majors. This is about decisions that you're helping them to make across 4 years of high school, so that there is a cohesive narrative thread when they get to their essays. So I am going to we can choose anything here. I'll go ahead and choose engineering as an example. So what's going to happen is we can see that in a given year where we had 1.8 million degrees that were awarded, and again, this is coming from US Department of Ed data, well, what did we have? We had 97,000 of them that were in engineering. Now, how did that break down? Oh, look, when I hover, I start getting a lot of information. And in fact, usually what happens at this point is the light bulb goes off over the student's head and they go, well, I knew I was interested in engineering because I'm really good in science and math, but wait a minute. I didn't even know that some of these were a thing. What is civil engineering? What is petroleum engineering? And as I scroll, you can see this goes on and on and on into many types of engineering. And what happens is the students that I'm helping are able to choose one of these. They might say, well, I love bio, but I'm also interested in engineering. And this is, not looking quite as crowded. Let me just keep that. So 5,922. Okay, so now the question is, well, where can I do that? Ta-da, down at the bottom of the tool. What can we do? We can find out. Like the number one was Georgia Institute of Tech. There you go. So 214 students. I can go into this tool. I can limit it by state. If the student wants to stay in California, there's the programs. There's the size of the programs. You can limit by public or private. If I only want to see the public schools, and I can limit by size if I want to only see a really big school, right? There you got Santa Cruz, or maybe I'm okay with different size schools. This is all about, as it says here, getting strategic. The idea of getting a BA in business, right? So that's usually a 4-year degree. As we said yesterday, sometimes a 4-year degree it actually ends up being 5 or 6 years. So you want to be careful about your assumptions about the amount of time it takes to get an undergraduate degree. There's no guarantees depending on, how many classes your student is taking and so forth, and it can add to the cost. But with that said, for example, if we think about the business programs at the major schools, let's say USC or NYU, these business programs break down into, there's a difference, right, between finance and between accounting and entrepreneurship and on and on and on. So this tool and the way that you want to be thinking about it, whether you use this tool, whether you work with me or whether you're just thinking about this on your own, please think about impaction. Think about how you can be strategic in helping your student aim for a major that has fewer people competing, that is more specific, so you can choose a great internship that is highly specified so that you can get them into summer programs that are going to be easily woven into their essays when they get to the senior year and they're applying. This week, by the way, we've talked about so many strategies. We've talked about early decision and early action. We've talked about financial aid. We've talked about a lot of specifics yesterday, if you missed it. We had a hot seat with one of our parents here. Jen, thank you again for being a part of the group. And, you do want to look back at the previous lives that I have been offering, because there are a lot of pieces of like things you can grab and put away. I am recommending that all the parents get yourself a notebook. There is always going to be data, the top 10 that I shared with you a moment ago, that's data for you to be aware of. So, you do want to really think about all of these things as you are getting your student ready. We're going to end it there today, a little 15-minute live with you. But everything that I've shared here is, you can learn more about it. I certainly, for those who are seeing this not on the Facebook group, there you see how to join us. We're on facebook.com/groups/parent revolution. So our goal with this group is to have parents feeling empowered to ask the right questions, to make the right moves so that you can work with your student, whether it's with a school counselor, whether it's with me, or whether it's with anybody else. The types of information that I'm giving away here are very likely to save you money. My objective is for you to help them find the right fit college, like they say, without you going crazy or broke, right?